All right, hello everybody. It appears it's another Sunglass Monday, as another main slate that just didn't cut the mustard. Finished less than a point away from placing in the big $4,000 millie. I got off to a good start and was sitting in first for about a quarter, but overall that makes four main slates for the NFL 0 for 4 this year. So, we're lucky we have these showdown slates and things to keep, the NFL profit afloat. So today's going to be a little different. DK and FanDuel kind of changed things up on us. We have a Monday slate with the Millie as a 2-gamer, and then you still have the showdowns for each game. So one of the things, that I want to remind everybody here is, to go to our optimizer, sign up for our optimizer, follow me on Twitter at CoachS111. But today, this is going to be a short, quick hitter with a brand new, strategy I'm sure some of you use. Go over the games a little. I'm not going to actually optimize today for you, but this is something very, very new that we have not talked about yet. So first, kind of let's go over the games, and then the concept that I'm going to show you and recommend is the extreme advantage of late swaps, or understanding when a lineup's dead and when a lineup has a potential to win but needs to change. So I've won a lot of my biggest wins have come from late swap strategies. So I guess I'm kind of explaining it now, but here's the concept: is it doesn't matter the sport. I've actually been more successful with it in the NBA. But let's say it's a 2-game, or it could be a 4 or 6. It could be anything. But let's say you have the first set of games, in this case games. So let's say you've only played chalk players in the first set. So you play Mahomes, Kelsey, Edwards-Helaire, and Edelman. Okay? And those are some of the chalkier players. You don't play any of the auxiliary pieces, or you don't take a chance on Bird or Demarcus Robinson, or any low-owned plays that you think may be good. And they all kind of had middling production or bad production. So your chalk is struck out. Now you're going into game 2, and you had Aaron Jones and Valdez Scantling in there, and Ridley, and you pretty much can't win because you're struck out with your first chalk, and you're playing more chalk the second game, and obviously you have to have a low-dollar player or two mixed in there. But the only chance you really have of winning is it's pretty much a dead lineup, but you would have to take some chances. So maybe you take out Jones and you put in Irving and Williams and hope that Irving gets a touchdown screenplay catch, and Jamal Williams gets a goal line voucher, and they both match or outscore Aaron Jones. Then you're able to maybe bump go to Julio or something like that, or you take out Tronin at tight end and you put in Jace. Something that here's the thing: if you keep the chalk in that lineup and does good, well, so does everyone else's lineup because they have the chalk too. But you've already failed your first half of your lineup. So when you do good, so does everybody else. The lineup at best will cash, probably not, because you've already struck out. Now, let's flip that around and say that you play Demarcus Robinson or Hardman or Bird or James, one of the lower-owned pieces and 1 or 2 chalky pieces, and Bird popped a 60-yard touchdown and your chalk pieces hit. Okay, well, maybe in that lineup to get all the pieces in, you did play some unchalky. some contrarian plays. Well, now you can do one of two things. You can stick with a very, very contrarian lineup because you still, if they hit, you're going to win. Or you can diversify and trade up to some chalk. So now people will have a harder time to catch you. Now here's what I'm going to talk about at the very end. I'm going to show you with a lineup or two is build two of the same lineup. And so if you want to build 10 lineups, you build 5 sets of 2. And you make changes in the lineup based on how the first game went. So you have a less chalky version and a more chalky version, and you take one of the two and you flip it towards the end of the first set of games. That has won me a ton of money, and you can use the strategy similar to like the one time Rudy Gobert may be injured, but I know this is not basketball. But his replacement is Bradley. Well, if you just have Gobert in there and you put in Bradley, you're leaving tons of salary on the table. So you put in Gobert and a value guard, and then you switch to Mitchell and Bradley. But you have to leave yourself 2 people open, for that. So in injuries, late swap is also good. All right, so let's looking at these games now. All right, so you can see here with the targets for New England, pretty simple. Edelman, Harry, Burkhead, Bird a little bit, nobody else really. Now James White is coming back, so he'll probably bump up some targets. Who knows how much he'll be on the field. Burkhead played good last game. I am assuming he'll still be there majority of the third downs. Rushes, Newton's gone, Sony's gone today. I'm going to assume that Burkhead's going to get his share of carries, but here's the thing is, it's possible Harris is back and they give J.J. Taylor some. So I personally can't really predict, but I would doubt they're going to cut Burkhead out. So Burkhead probably is a fairly safe play in my opinion. Okay. KC, these 4 guys are going to eat for sure, and these guys are going to pick up the scraps. So Kelsey and Hill are going to get theirs. Watkins, Clyde, Edwards, Hilaire are going to get theirs. And depending on the game script, everyone else picks up the scraps. Rushing's even more, Edwards is going to get his carries. Williams may get a carry or 2. Darwin fumbled last game. I don't know how much you'll see the field today. Okay. Green Bay is a mess. Adams said he's going to be out. Lazard was tearing it up, injured. Valdez-Scantling, de facto number 1, but I don't know how much you can trust him, but he does have 20 targets. Jones used in the passing game. My gut tells me that they're going to use the tight ends and Jamal Williams a little more in the passing game, but you do have a bunch of receivers that are going to play that aren't even on there. Rushing, Aaron Jones has been a 5-to-2 ratio to Williams. Again, Dillon's not getting the ball a whole lot. Irvin's more of a pass-catching back. How many targets does he have here? Irvin's got 6 targets, not a whole lot. All it takes is 1 to break 1, though. So, in this game, I think you may see them rely on passes to the running backs more, but obviously Jones is the bell cow. All right, Atlanta. Strangely, Julio's 3, but don't forget, he's been banged up and in and out a little bit. He says he's going to play. Ridley's kind of overtaken him for the number 1, and Gage has had quite a bit of targets. Then you have the tight end Hurst. In terms of rushes, Gurley's not done a whole lot with him, but he still is 3-1 for Brian Hill. Brian Hill, can break one, but he's got to be in the game to get the touches. And Smith, I believe he may have goal line vultured a touchdown last week. Okay, that's kind of just the target breakdown. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to look at my sheet here real quick. And if we're going to go through this team by team, one of the things that I want you to ask here is, who are the volume guys? Okay? So, we'll get to that sheet next. But volume guys, and I'm going to just go ahead and highlight them blue. We know Aaron Jones is going to get his. We know Hill, Ridley, Julio, Clyde Edwards. I'm not buying Gage is going to be as consistent with the volume. By default, Valdez-Scantling has to get stuff. Edelman, Kelsey are both also going to get targets. That for me, that's out of all the players, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players that 4 here. And who did I miss by putting? Okay, I put on here now, even though with a full team, I wouldn't guarantee he's getting targets. So, looking at this, here's my game plan for tonight, and then I'm going to get into that little, what I talked about earlier. Is you could make a lineup that has 5, 6, or even 7 of these guys locked in. Okay, so they start with that. Remember, reviewing all their videos, game scripts matter, have a purpose, don't push a button. But here's what I'm going to do tonight, and I recommend you give it a try. The leverage of late swaps. So I don't know how you organize your lineups, what you do with that. I don't know, you should use our optimizer. Go check out dfskarma.com, get the optimizer, review some of the videos. You should use your optimizer, but once you get the lineups out, I don't know if you just put them in DraftKings and you organize them in there, or if you have your own type of spreadsheet. But I recommend going in, locking some people in our optimizer, and let's say you're going to build. You're only a 10 lineup build. Maybe you do this 4, 5, 6 times, but when you do that, you lock in, you say 5 or 6 of these guys, make one build that has more chalk, and then you export them, and then one build that is less chalky and throw more crazy guys in there, but have the same guys locked in so you can interswap the lineups and export that. And then get them into 2 spreadsheets. And here's what I recommend doing. So let's say I did that. Just do one. This is just one lineup. Okay, the green lineup here is the main lineup. Now I can't show you 2 guys because of your agreement with DraftKings, but I've got a chalky replacement and a contrarian replacement. So what I mean by that is, if you look here. This is your lineup. It has Jamal Williams in it, Edelman, Hill, Scantling, Kelsey, 2 guys you can't see. Okay. But I have that lineup in there twice. So look at this. Okay. So green is the original, but I duplicated it. This is an actual DraftKings printout. And blue is the one that needs to be changed. So I have this secondary sheet I made, and let's just say it's approaching the end of the 3rd quarter, and my team is bombing. Okay, I'm going to replace it with the contrarian lineup because it's dead money anyways. If the chalk is bombing and you have Aaron Jones, your more chalk coming, you'll never win with that lineup. So the only hope you have is that Jones puts up a dud. Irving busts a screen pass in this example. Maybe Valdez-Scantling, they double cover him. Malik Taylor gets a long touchdown. Whatever the case may be, if you roll with this lineup, changed from the one you had here that was bombing, you're putting in Aaron Jones and for Jamal Williams, who's more chalky, and I made some changes here that you can't see due to our agreement, but you're not gonna make up for it. So we go with that example. I'm gonna highlight this blue. Okay, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna go to my sheet, and I'm going to paste. All right. Now I do that for the next lineup I have. Now obviously I only have one built, so all my lineups are duplicated. So then I let's just say in this next example that the lineup's doing really good, and I remember I have it in there twice, so I want to make some changes. So then I may include a more chalky replacement, because maybe the original lineup was more contrarian. It's doing good. So now, I have a contrarian lineup in both games and a half contrarian lineup that's already done good and included some chalk. Therefore, giving myself more outs. So the biggest thing to take out of this video today is whether you have one lineup or do it the way that I'm going to do it, and you duplicate every lineup and have your sheet ready to do these replacements, is late swap leverage is so important. So many times you're drawing dead. Why? Okay, so you have one slate of games going off in the NBA at 10, or baseball, you're losing and you've played Mike Trout and when Justin Verlander was good. Those are your only two players left, but everyone else bombed. Well, let's say that those are going to be two chalky players you will never catch. So the only chance you have is you take Mike Trout out and you go someone like from the Indians, the big guy, Reyes, and you take out Verlander and put in Carrasco. Now, the likelihood of Reyes and Carrasco outscoring those two isn't very good, but that would be your only chance. So, in this instance, this is the same thing. You could have one lineup, and don't do it the way that I'm doing it, but evaluate your lineups when it's close to that second game off and say, I'm doing good. I'm hitting all my picks, and I'm going to let this roll. Or, I'm kind of drawing dead. I screwed this pick up. I've already lost my $10. So the only chance I really have is a lotto ticket plays. So rather than pray and hope that maybe I get in the cash, which probably you won't, I have to make some changes and I have to get a little unorthodox. So that is the big thing for today's video. Remember to use our optimizer. Follow me at Coach S111 on Twitter. The other thing was, last week was the first time that I believe I lost a game prediction. As far as tonight goes, I'll try to still stick with being undefeated for the day and only one loss on the year. I'm going to call Hoyer with an upset. New England beats Kansas City. I wouldn't put a whole lot of money on it, but just a gut feel. And Atlanta goes into Green Bay and wins a shootout. Are they playing in Green Bay? I think they are. Well, Atlanta wins either nonetheless. The last and final thing here, is he's sleeping back here, but I have to make one introduction. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. This guy's chubby. He plays DFS. Don't worry, we don't collude. He has a better winning record than most people. A lot of times, he just goes with his gut and makes the picks. But I promise you, just because we live in the same house, there's no colluding. So you can go ahead and follow Chubby as well. All right. Have a good day. Hopefully, you picked up one or two things on leverage. God bless. Follow me on Twitter. Sign up for our optimizer, and have a good one.